Hey everyone, welcome back to the Suburban Homesteader. In this video, we're maximizing our growing space. So we're adding 4 brand new beds into our backyard system to produce more food for our family. I'm going to be showing you how we set up these Birdies beds that we've got, where we're going to be setting them up in our backyard, and also filling them up and planting them out. So let's go. Alright everyone, so this is the Birdies bed. So we're going to get started. I've already pre-made the other 3 beds, but I'm going to take you along as I build this one. It's actually relatively easy and I can do it all by myself. So with these beds, we have 4 of them. So we purchased them from Bunnings on clearance. I think they're about $40 or $50, about half price. And, these ones we originally got to replace our timber beds. So we have 4 hardwood sleeper beds that we built about 2021, and originally I was thinking of replacing them. Ideally I'd like to replace them to just because of wood rot and things like that. They're hardwood sleepers, so I'm not worried about anything leaching, but just they'll break down over time. And we got these to replace them, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to add these beds to our current system and grow as much as we can. So it's actually we're going to be adding to the system and not replacing. We will eventually replace them, but at this point in time, we're just going to use these beds to add on to what we're growing already, which is fantastic. So previously we've got steel beds before. So around the 2021 to 2022, I picked up a couple. I think there was like 4 or 5 over a period of time with all brand new beds that was supposed to be steel. They were relatively easy to put together, but they were super flimsy, super cheap. They rusted and broke down within a year, and they were just crap, and we got rid of them. Just wasn't happy with the quality, but I got them for free, so it was an easy one. I think I picked them up on like Facebook Marketplace or some sort of local community page where someone was getting rid of them, and I picked them up. Perfect to get started. But yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with the quality, so I hoyed them pretty quickly. So these ones are Birdies. I'm not affiliated. We've got some Birdies beds before that we have previously set up, and it's in a previous video. And we're using them as our espalier fruit trees and our banana alley, which I'll give you a quick clip now. So this Birdies bed, it's about 37 centimeters high. So with our hardwood sleeper beds, they're only 20 centimeters. Ideally would have liked to add another layer, like another step, another timber sleeper to make them up a bit taller, just so you don't have to bend down as much. And we just couldn't afford it at the time to do 2 levels. So it's only the one sleeper high. This will be roughly just under double the height of our current sleepers. This is 37 centimeters. And the beauty about this setup, so the previous ones, the Birdies beds that we have, they were custom directly from Birdies. So we got them in 5-meter lengths. We got 4 beds. All of them are about 5 meters. We've got 10 meters dedicated to the fruit tree, the espalier fruit trees, 10 meters of the banana. They're both the same height, about 740 high, I think it is. So at least, almost 3 times the size of this one in height. One's 500 wide and the other one's a meter. So the meter is for our bananas, and we wanted a slightly slimline one for our espalier fruit trees. This one will be super, these ones are super easy to put together. I much more enjoyed putting these ones together compared to our other ones, because the other ones were taller. We actually required struts to maintain the shape. And because it was so high, I'm only about 160, and these are 74 centimeters high. And it definitely required 2 people. Me and Hamish did it. I could not do it by myself. It would take me a super long time. Even together it took a while. And we had to try and get in to the bed itself so we could get down low and secure the bolts. It was awkward. But these were super easy to put together. Probably took about half an hour, and I'll take you through it. But the good thing about this one is, obviously didn't get it direct through Birdies, but it's a 6-in-1 bed, so you can choose 6 different shapes with the pieces that they give you. based on what space you have, or available, or what kind of bed that you want. But it is 37 centimeters high, so it's still a good height to get the beds going, and you don't have to bend down as far. So I'm going to open up the box. I will give you, on the picture here, it actually shows you the different shapes. To put this, you pretty much don't need anything to put this bed together. I do highly recommend a power drill though, just so you can quickly secure the bolts a lot more tighter than what you will by hand. Just makes life a lot easier. So if you've got one handy, definitely utilize that. So I'm going to crack this open and we'll set it up. And I've actually reused these boxes, or will be reusing these boxes to fill the bed. So I've been saving cardboard and all sorts to lay down like a weed suppression layer, a thick layer of cardboard. So Birdies Beds is an Australian owned and made, and they're made out of a high quality powder coated steel. Well, the ones I got anyway. So this one here is I got a merino color. That's all they had, so I didn't care. I actually quite liked it. It's like a creamy color, whereas the other ones that we got, the taller ones, woodland gray. So we had actually bought these. We actually bought these beds quite some time ago, and we just haven't set them up yet. So some of them are maybe sitting underneath the carport, and the box has kind of disintegrated a little bit. Now each piece is got like a protective film on it to protect the steel from scratching or whatever during transit. And it comes with a nice little rubber top, so to speak, to go over the top rim. So if you were to lean on the bed, you're not going to hurt yourself. Really handy with the kids. Alright, so for what the shape of the design we chose, so 2.1 long, ends up being about 55 centimeters wide. So the box is 60 centimeters or 600, but I feel like after building the first three, it definitely is a bit shorter by 5 centimeters. Look, not a huge deal for having something half price. I'm adding to the space. Now our current wooden timber sleeper beds, it's about 2.4 by 1.2. I just feel like 1.2 is a little bit too long, or maybe it's just for me being a bit shorter. I just find you can't reach the middle of the bed like easy enough. I like to try and maximize space. When I'm multi-planning, sometimes I can't access what's in the middle, and I just feel like they're a little bit too long, too wide. So probably 600 to 700 wide might be an ideal, maybe max 900. I'll probably have to access either point, either side of the bed to get the middle, but something around that will probably be ideal. So 55 centimeters isn't too bad. Look, highly recommend remembering to take the plastic off before you start building the bed. Hot tip, makes it so much harder when you've already built it to try and get the plastic off, especially around the bolts. But it's super easy to peel off. Just peels off. Now the only downside to, I don't like waste, so particularly plastic waste. With the box I can reuse it, but I'll definitely recommend pre-peeling them all before you get started. So as I mentioned, it's super easy just doing it by myself. It does take about half an hour per bed though, and a lot of it's like just peeling and opening up the box and then peeling the plastic off, and then you get to the fun part of putting it together. Now it comes with all the bits. It comes with the bolts. Comes with the rubber top to protect the top of the bed, so if you're leaning on the bed, you protect your hands, etc., or the kids as well. So it's a nice little feature to have that rubber coated top. But I'd highly recommend a power drill to make securing the bolts and tightening the bolts a lot more easier and quicker than trying to do it by hand. Alright, so all the pieces are unpeeled. Usually start with the ends, and then I add the middle bits and then tighten it all up. Alright, so they're the little bolts. Like that's it there, the bolt and the nut. So I always start with the top and the bottom to try and keep it all in place. So I just loosely put it on, and then I tighten it at the end with the power drill. and then I'll just fill up the rest of them. So the bolt goes in, so this is on the outside, so you push it in and then secure the nut on the inside. So then I'm going to start adding on the sides. Now it probably has it in instructions, I haven't really read it because it's so easy to put together. I tend to put the corner bit on the outside and the longer panels on the inside. Now, because these ones are shorter, you don't have those middle struts like the taller beds did. Now, one thing I would highly recommend if you're not quite sure what kind of design you wanted, and you have a few different options that you can play around with the space you have, is you set it up. You don't have to necessarily put the bolts in place. You can literally just set it there and have them leaning up against each other. Or if you really wanted to be able to move it around the place to see what happens, just put the first and the last one in. Obviously there'll be a bit of movement as you're moving it, but at least it'll be secure enough to actually place it and have a look to see what it looks like without putting all the hard effort into setting it, the whole thing up and securing it. You're not quite sure what it will look like in the space you have with the different designs that are available. Now I'm going to go and get the power drill and secure it. Tighten it, and then I just go all the way down and secure them all. So by securing it with your fingertips, like your thumb and finger, you're just securing the... This rubber tip is relatively easy to put on. Obviously the joins are the most hardest part because you've got to try and have them, you know, both together as you're trying to put the rubber tip over. But I try and start on this side, or at least a little bit away, and then have it so it goes over. Sometimes you might even want to start on top, so it makes it a bit easier. But it literally just snaps on top. Super easy. But it's just these like joins. Sometimes it's super easy like that. Others are a bit more tricky. And you literally just go around all around the bed until you get to the end, and then you cut it off, and then it's done. Alright, I lied. We need one more bit, one more tool, and that's scissors. To be honest, it doesn't have to be right where you started. It can overlap and you just have it so it goes over. So if I do here, a little bit longer, doesn't matter. I'll just overlap it on top of the current one. Perfect. There we have it. Super easy. If I can do it, anyone can do it. But now all I would do is pick it up and put it in place. So this is one of the 2 spots that we're putting in the new beds. This will get the most sun comparing the 2 sides, or the 2 places that we're going to be setting them up. But this is a bit more uneven in this place here. Measuring them out, I'm a little bit OCD, so I like having them quite even and measured. But 2 most important things, we're making sure that we could also get the wheelbarrow in through this part as well as the lawnmower. But I did want a bit of spacing for that reason, and then also a little bit of space on the other side of the sand pit just in case the kids need to get out there. But yeah, I'm a little bit particular with spacing, so I like it quite even. This part is a bit, like I said, a bit uneven ground, so I will have to make some modifications with some leftover quartz that we had from a Gabion bench seat that we're doing. So I'm filling up some of the gaps at the end, like edges of the bed where it's lifting up, just because the ground's uneven. I didn't want to go digging into the ground, so I'm just going to use the rock. So this is the second location of where we're putting the other 2 garden beds. It's more on the south side of the property, so it will probably get more morning to midday sun, and it'll be more shaded out in the afternoon. Here I'm just piling up some cardboard that I have collected over the last few months for this purpose of, for setting up these beds. So I always repurpose the cardboard that we have from various things. I also collect it from other people as well. But I really like using thick layers of cardboard as a weed suppression or a grass suppression as well. And look, it will break down over time. I'm very particular with the cardboard. A glossy one, like a glossy backed cardboard, isn't good enough. I just feel like that wouldn't be a great option. And then also trying to make sure that any tape is off too. You do want to wet the cardboard down. A lot of people tend to pre-soak it, but I don't have anywhere that I could pre-soak this amount of cardboard that I need. So I'm just going to continually water as I go, like water in as I go, as I'm layering it up. So I do tend to find grass will grow more so on the edges of the bed. And I think that's just because of the way you lay the cardboard out. A lot of people just put it flat, and I'm probably guilty of that too. They just put it right on the base of the bed, or base of where the floor is, or grass is. But you also got to layer it up on the sides as well. And I don't know if what I'm doing is going to be successful, but I do tend to find that tends to be the weakest point when grass does grow up. But I do have a ton of cardboard, so I'm going to try and see about trying to minimize that as much as possible here. So I'm just going to be repeating the cardboard and watering method for all 4 beds. I think we ordered way too much mushroom compost. We ordered about 5 cubes, but I think a bit more was tipped. That's all right. We ended up having way more than what we needed. But so I just thought I'd get started just by myself, starting to fill up some of the beds. Prior to filling up this bed, I also had to top up some of the other beds that we've got, just because they had been depleted over the last few months. Just over time, the soil settles and the cardboard settles and starts to break down. So it was quite a warm day this day, and slugging away, shoveling the mushroom compost, it just didn't seem like it was going to end. The pile just didn't seem like it was getting any smaller, but I really needed to get this compost moved that day so we can bring the cars in. We had it tipped right at the front of our carport, and it just meant we couldn't get the cars in, so we really needed to put a hustle in for it. So I just did the same thing, lay it up with the cardboard, watered it in, chucked the mushroom compost on top. Called in the big guns, and when Hamish got home, I got him to give me a hand. 2 people working at it, it's going to be a lot quicker moving that compost. So we just got stuck right into it before having to pick up the kids. This is it, the last bed. We still got way too much compost still out under the carport, so we ended up having to fill up every single pot that we have lying around the place. We topped up everything that we could from our fruit trees and other beds. We also our compost, and also a little experiment project that we have going on at the front. I am adding a few little amendments to the bed, mainly some blood and bone. I also have some worm castings and some super compost bag that I had lying around, so I thought I'd end up just using it for these 4 beds. So I'm just going to mix it all in now, make sure it's well turned before planting. So as I'm planting, I'm also planning where I'm going to be putting things. So I'm going to be putting a capsicum in this end of the bed. I'm also going to be putting in some flowers that I've grown from seed, so like some zinnias and stuff. I will be putting like onions and some tomatoes in this bed as well. Just look at that. They're just looking so healthy. So I love putting flowers in beds. I love companion planting and packing them in. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So that for all 4 beds. So other flowers I'm going to be putting in the beds, a lot of them I've grown via seed. So there's zinnias, cosmos, cornflowers, marigolds. I also picked up a few seedlings from patio plants, which is where I get some of my organic seedlings from. So this side of the bed, I'm going to be planting a zucchini, and I'm staking because I'm going to be growing it a bit differently this year. So this is one of the seed pots that I made, and you can see how it was breaking down. So I'm actually going to be growing it vertically, which is the first time I'm doing this, reducing things like powdery mildew, provide aeration, airflow, and it would also support the plant as it's growing. So I'm so excited. So in these beds, I'll be also putting another capsicum. I always like to have more than one plant, especially capsicum. We just use so much capsicum. And I'm just planting it in this bed. It's a bit more of a smaller seedling, but it should be fine. I'm also going to be putting in some beans in this bed. So I'm using a method that I've never tried before, very similar to a method that I'm doing for my tomatoes, which will be in my next video. So stay tuned for that. But it's essentially zigzagging the stakes and using twine to help support the beans as they grow. I'm using a variety that is a compact variety. It's a Windsor long bean. So I'm probably sowing way more than I need to, but some don't germinate. Things happen. Some get taken by, slugs or snails. So I'm just sowing more than I need to. And if I always, I can always thin them out if need be, and that's fine. So as I mentioned, I haven't tried this method before, but how hard is it, how hard can it be to tie a string? So I'm just going to be zigzagging it in between the stakes to make sure that there is a line of string in between each stake. So diagonally, horizontally, and also to make sure that you go around the whole perimeter of where the stakes are as well, just to lock every single place in. Planting in more flowers, not only do they look pretty, but it helps bring in them, the beneficial insects, bees, butterflies, aphids, things like that. So I'm just setting up this structure here. It's just one of the trellising methods that I'm using. More information is in my upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. But I'm going to be putting the exact same trellising system here as well. It will be on the other bed as well. And I will be growing tomatoes on this, but it's so versatile. You can use it for cucumbers or anything really that needs some support. So it's just a star picket and some mesh. So now I'm just going to water everything in before I start to mulch. I use a sugarcane mulch. I'm using it for all 4 of these beds, as well as, I use it for all my beds, whether it's veggies, fruits. I just find it a really good mulch. I'm keen to know what everyone else uses for their mulch. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel, the Suburban Homesteader AUS. We also have an Instagram page, so the Suburban Homesteader AUS. There we share a bit more daily updates and progress. So please head over to that platform and follow us there as well. Thanks for watching and happy growing.